Alright, I'm going to change a universal joint on a Dodge Ram 2001 Dodge Ram 1500. Now the tools you're going to need to do this job is going to be some dark safety glasses, some clear safety glasses, a hammer, needle nose pliers, a chisel, a punch, a small screwdriver, a can of penetrating oil. It could be Freeze-All, it can be PB Blast, and a socket, 18 or 19 socket, and a universal joint. The dark safety glasses is for using the torch. I use a acetylene torch because it gets hot. We don't have time to play around in the shop. Now, if you could try MAP gas, you could try that if it would get hot enough. But I use actually a acetylene torch. So what we're going to do, we're going to change the universal joint. And when changing the universal joint, this is going to apply pretty much in principle to any universal joint you have to change. Normally, I soak the universal joint with drive shaft in transmission fluid, a bucket of transmission fluid overnight, if I can do that, because the transmission fluid acts as a very good penetrant. Okay, so I didn't do that with this one. Let's see if I can get it out. We're in the Rust Belt, so we don't have easy jobs up here. First thing you want to do is put on your clear safety glasses. The reason you want to do this, because you're going to be chipping at this, especially if you're in the Rust Belt. Now, I don't care if you figure that you're far away. If your face is 50 miles away, that rust for some reason will find that eye. So make sure you put on these clear safety glasses, because you're going to chip it away. Now you take the can of Freeze-All penetrating oil, and you spray on where the rings are that holds it in, the clips. Okay, you can spray around it. Now ideally, it's probably best to let this sit for a while to see if it can work its way through. Sometimes it doesn't. That's why I soak it in a transmission fluid, but we're going to see. Now, what we're going to end up doing is taking this off right here, the ring. So you take your chisel, and you start chiseling the ring. Now, this here broke. It broke off. That makes it harder to get to, because now you need something to get this to move. This is why I soak it in transmission fluid. So now what do? The chisel broke it. You can try to use your punch to knock the other side, if you can get it. Let's see here. Okay, you want to knock this down here, trying to get it away from the snap ring. That's to try to get pressure away from the snap ring. See if we can get this to move. Now, if this is stubborn and it still doesn't act like it want to move, okay, this is when you start dealing with the heat. So we're going to get some heat on this. It's not acting right. Now, when you use the torch, which I have here, make sure you put on your dark safety glasses, because any rust on here is going to start popping. You might hear it. Now you got that pretty hot. Pour some more, if you can, free on there, or penetrating oil. Now it's going to probably in the beginning, until it cools down a bit, burn it right off. But what you want to do while it is hot, still put some in, so it becomes thinner the hotter it is, and it'll make its way through the cracks. In between that rust. Okay, you want to take the hammer, tap on this a bit. Away, turn it upside down. Turn it back. Spray some more. Knock. Knock. Get back over here. Now, why am I doing this? Because I want to free up this ring in here so I can get it out. So I'm tapping on it or knocking on it. So knocking, knocking, knocking. All right. Now let's knock this down. Now let's see if we can get it to move. Let's use the punch. See if it'll move. Still not moving. Still not yet. Still rusted in there. Okay, you take the little screwdriver and try to pick the rust out from the edges here. Ah, I got it to move, y'all. Okay, now right here, this one does move a bit. There it goes. See that? Oh, let me get it. Oh. If you can get that up like I did, spray some more underneath there. All right, so after you heat up this side, you pour some free in there, which this is called freeze on or penetrating oil. You can use fluid, oil or transmission fluid, because by this being hot, then it will become thinner, work its way inside where the rust is. And then what you got to do, tap this down. Up, and you tap it down. What you're doing is trying to shock this, the rust that's in there, to free it up. Put some more penetrating oil in there. And take the punch and see if you can move the ring. You gotta take your time now. Don't rush, because if you break this ring inside here, it'd be hard trying to get the pieces out. You have this to hit onto, these parts here. Let me show you. You have this to hit onto right here to try to free it up. All you thing you want to do is tap it just a little. Tap it. So you start seeing it move. I'll tell you, it's not always easy in dealing with rust. So you gotta tap, tap, be patient. See, I see this part moving here. Ah, it's moving. Okay. All right. Spray some more. Okay. It's moving. Now, get the little screwdriver, and you want to get underneath here and try to pick it out. There it goes. There it is. So you got that out. Now, you take your penetrating oil, spray on here. Spray on here, this part has almost come out. And you take your wood, which is right here, put it on this side. You're going to hit this and knock one out, knock one in out. So here we go. See that? Here it is. It come out right there. And you can see by it's wet, all of the penetrating oil went through there. Okay? Then you take this off. Put it to the side. Then you turn around and you knock the other one out the same way. Try not to hit this now. You don't want to mess that up. Now this is not coming out like the other one was right away. So you're going to have to hit it a while. May have to spray some more and hit it. Now it came out. Fell on the ground. Then you take the universal joint out. And that is it for taking it out. Now, what you're going to need this little screwdriver for here is inside this groove may be rust. So you want to go around there. Clean that out. You need that groove, okay? And you do the same thing to the other side. Once you get that out, take your rag, wipe it out. Okay, so you make sure that groove is very clean. You got a clean groove now. So here's your universal joint. Move them to the side. All right. Now it's time to get the new peg. So what do you do with this? Okay. The best thing, make sure you take your rag and clean the inside out. Turn the other side, clean the inside out. All right. Okay, we're going to put in a new universal joint. If you have some motor oil or something that's very viscous, maybe some grease. I use some transmission assembly treatment. You might can use Slick 50 or anything. We're going to do coat the inside of the walls where the caps will be to make it easier for them to go in. Okay, so I coat the walls here. Then on the universal joint, you're going to take every cap off, but make sure you pay attention to those bearings that's inside. They must stay in place. So take every cap off. Now you're going to position the universal joint inside, but now you have a bleeder valve here. It's not a bleeder, it's a grease fitting, okay? It's right here. And what you want to do is position this where you can grease this when you need to. Okay, I'm going to position it on the outside. So I'm going to put this right here. Okay, now, once you put this in, okay, you let it sit there, then you're going to take one of your caps, okay, and you're going to set it in here like this inside, and you're going to make sure you push this up into the cap. Make sure it's all the way up in there, okay? So that's in there. And then as you're holding this up, tap it down. Do not let this fall out. So keep the pressure up as you tap down with the hand. Now you're not trying to tap it all the way in, but enough to where when you put the other cap in, the part that the bearings ride on will already be inside, so they don't fall out. Okay, so I put this in almost flush. See, now you turn it upside down. Then you take another cap and make sure you pay attention to the bearings. If the needles fall in, you got to take a pick and put them back in place. So you put this in here. When you put that in, you push this one towards it. You make sure this part is inside where they can't fall down. You make sure this part got inside, and then you tap that in. Okay, so that's in, and it's moving nice and smoothly. Okay, now you don't have any problem with this falling out. This is flush. This one is flush. Now, what you have to do, you got to get your clips in, the brand new ones. They come into the pack. So you got the clips here. They come in the pack, and you got to put it in here. Okay, so that's when this socket come into play. Because what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put the socket on the U-joint and knock it past the groove. Alright? This is a number 19. You can use a number 18. Now, once you knock this far enough past the groove, then you can take your snap ring and your needle nose pliers and put it in the groove and twist it around to make sure that it's actually in the groove. So that's in the groove there. So now what you have to do is go on the opposite side and take your socket and you knock down the opposite way. You take your clip and your needle nose pliers. Make sure there's no dirt here or something here. Can't get dirt in the way. Okay, so here we go. You put it in. Twist it around. Make sure that it's moving inside the groove. Now, here's what's important. When you knock that down that way to get it in, you may think that you're finished. You're not. This universal joint is very hard to move now. It's hard. You can move it, but it's hard. It's not supposed to be that way. The reason it's that way because you knocked it down and put pressure on the other universal joint in order to get this clip in on this side. So what you have to do is turn it around on the other side, and you're going to have to knock this down until you see this move very freely. Okay, so you can take this socket and hit it, then touch it. See how easy that's moving now? You want it to move free. That's changing the universal joint. Now you don't have to use the rings if you got this part only that's going up inside the yoke, because it has its own universal clips that's going to hold it in. Alright, so that's it in changing the universal joint. A rusty universal joint now.